Moonlight to all. In this life, I'm going to be discussing the simple things. Who are you? All you have to know is your fruits to know who you are. Look inside of you. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to sacrifice? What type of person are you? Would you be willing? Or not? Look at your fruits, aka actions. Look at your actions. At the age that I am now, 31, I can actually judge myself based off my actions. There's enough evidence. A person can say, I only do this sort of work. I only sort of do this sort of thing for work. I only sacrifice for work. I only lie down my morals for work. I only work in the devil's house for work. I only put out this sort of music for work. But I don't let my children listen to it. I myself probably don't listen to it. But they put it out for work. They put it out for other people to listen to it. Why? No. Like, if you know that it's devil work, if you know that it's not a good influence for anyone, let alone children, because you won't allow your own children to listen to your own music that you do for work, or what you do for work, you won't, or you hope that your children doesn't grow up to do the same thing. Why? Why, at the simple fact that why do it? Just why? Why do it when you could do other things? I guess because maybe it's paying more. It's the only thing convenient. You know, personally, if I must say, those things generally are the easy things, are the most convenient. The things that are rotten that's always going to be easy and convenient. So it tells a person who they are, that you just gave into it because it was easy and it was convenient. Not everyone gives in, though. It takes something in that person, just like it took something in that other person to whether to do it or not to do it. That's where people differ. Some people take the fast lane, the convenient way, and some people end up taking this way that seems to be harder and not so convenient. When we all have to provide for ourselves, make money, we all have to, but we don't all have to do it the same way, even though we have our own will to choose to. So when a person is trying to figure out who they are, all they have to look at is their actions, the way that they're walking. And the longer you stay in that way, the longer you can actually say, this is who I am. Because there's no way you have morals, you're godly, you're on the righteous side of things, and you're putting up with it. There is only but so much you'll be able to stomach. There is only but so much time until you burst out and say something. And if you don't, and if you can stomach it, then that should tell you who you are. Because there is a difference between you and that other person. If you can't stomach these things, then that's your sign to leave. It's telling you. It's making you feel things. You can't stomach these things. It's not for you. This other person, easy peasy. They may even actually enjoy it. That tells them they're exactly where they're supposed to be. They feel comfortable in it. There's nothing inside of them telling them clearly that this is not where they're supposed to be. But regardless, this here is just to say, listen to what's inside of you, the person that can't stomach this. I'm speaking to you. When you just can't tolerate something, leave. That's the open door. We don't work in the devil's house. Whatever you want to call it. We don't do unruly things just for the love of money. We don't sacrifice our morals just for the love of money. Not only, but you'd rather poison the whole world, but turn around and say that you're not going to poison your children. But you'll be open to poisoning the whole world, just not your household. Because you make poisonous music, you say poisonous things, but you won't allow your children to listen to it. But they'll get older one day and you won't have any control over that. Fool. Isn't that foolish? But let's stick on that one thing, that you won't allow your own household to listen to it, but you'll allow the whole world to. Why? Because you're working for a master that wants to tamper with the whole world, wants to poison the whole world, wants to keep the whole world asleep. And you're his worker because you're working for him. But when you're done working for him, you make sure that your children does not hear these things, the things that you're producing, because the person you're working for is providing for you, and you're loyal to that person, knowing that it's poisoning the whole world, that you would sacrifice the good in you, the knowing, the truth, the intuition. And these are men and women. Your intuition. The righteous part of you. For the love of money. For the love of security. For the love of whatever he promised you. Whatever you're receiving from putting out this sort of work into the world, knowing it, but won't allow your children to hear it. You know, let me just say this. You know something's coming for your house, right? Don't be surprised. They're going to come straight to your house as secure as you think, or whatever you think you're drawing around your house, safety. If something out of this world is going to come, they're going to come. Your house is marked. And it's all because of you. But while in the moment, everything seems fine, right? It seems like you're poisoning the whole world, just not your household. From the surface, everything seems great. You're getting what he promised you. You're rich. You're secured in your household. It looks good, smells good, feels good. Your kids are healthy. They're not being poisoned by the world. You keep it from them. You put on this front in front of them. They think you're the best mother in the world, the best father, because that's what you want their eyes to see and their ears to hear, while every other ear hears the truth of what you do, sees the truth of what you do. If something out of this world is to come in this world, they're coming for your house. And there is no one to blame but you. Because you've done it. You've made your house marked and dark from within, from the truth that you may not be able to see, but that you know, that you've known that you've been working in darkness to see what surrounds you. What's coming for you is darkness. Yeah. We don't have to be witches and warlocks. We don't have to do witchcraft and root work and things like that to know what's coming. That's common sense. Those are the simple things. People call it karma and things. Okay, attraction, same thing. There is a higher power. Yeah, there are men and women that do root work, witchcraft, all that stuff. You know, men, human. But we're talking about a higher power. that something higher than all of this is going to come for you. And I'll leave it there. So to know who you are in this world is to know your fruits, is to know you, to know what house you're working in, what work you're doing. We're not talking about, a janitor sweeping and mopping the floor. No, we're talking about people that are in certain seats to literally influence, meaning once they sit in this seat, once they agree to this, once they agree to influencing the world, that's what they're signing on to. It says influence the world. Straight. Like, that's it. That's all your job consists of. A janitor, his contract, his work would be, keeping the property clean and together. And along the way, he will influence. But his job isn't to influence. Your job literally is to influence. So we're talking about that sort of job, that sort of seat. When all seats are important, but we're talking about that important seat. Like to be a judge of the world. Not to say you're higher than any other seat, but you have an important seat that you can't even you're going to be held at a higher standard, because it's one of those things where you have to really watch what you do, watch what you say. Not to say you're not perfect, not to say you're perfect. It's just to say, because of the seat that you're choosing to sit in, you need to know what seat you're sitting in, what position you're in. It's like less of a chance that they're going to give you grace, mercy to mess up, because there's just a higher standard, and you should be aware of that. So, I'm sure the person that agrees to this seat understands that. They understand the job, and what it consists of. And I'm sure if they've been chosen for this position, then there's a reason. Those are the simple things. So it's not like someone can say, "Oh, I did not know how to do my job. I did not know what I was signing up for." Yes, you did. Everyone does. And even if you did not, how long have you been in this seat? How long have you been working to where you could have stopped working? You could have turned around. You could have said, "This is not for me. I can't stomach it." But no, you've been in this career. You've been in the industry going on 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years plus. But you're going to turn around and say that I didn't know what I was signing myself up for. I didn't know what it consists of. No, it's just that for the love of money, you were willing to sacrifice. Everything is a sacrifice, everything is a decision, and everything has a cause and effect. So, because of the money that you were receiving, the rewards, all of the gratification you were receiving from the world, from your master, your employer kept you going, I suppose, because how could you not know what you were doing to the world? Lies. When you just said that you wouldn't allow your children to hear or see what you do, or you wouldn't want your children or any, yeah, you wouldn't want children to grow up to be and do the things you've done. That you'd want them to be better. You're such a liar. These are the same folks that will say things like, "Oh, well, I was young then," or um, "I've learned from my mistakes." Please, the damage is done. It's like, you really think someone like me is gonna accept that when you damaged and poisoned the whole world for 50 years, and after 50 years you want to say, "Oh, I learned from my mistakes"? No, you have no choice but to sit here and say that, because you're literally old and dried up, and you probably don't even get no work. Mm. So how sincere is it? How sincere are you? How sincere have you ever been to the world, to the righteous, to God's children? You've never been. You've never had them at the forefront. You've just had yourself, right? You've just thought of your own household. You've never cared about the world. You've never cared about anyone else but yourself and in your household. So after 10, 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years, you want to speak about how you were younger. You didn't know better. You now know. No, lies. And you really think someone's going to feel sorry? Why would anyone feel sorry? You should be feeling sorry for the world. Because people looked up to you, people listened to you, people actually wanted to be like you, people trusted in you, people, admired you. They really did, listen to what you said, listen to what you would say, and, would have thought that you actually cared, being in a certain seat and just being a person. No one ever wants to naturally think that, this person is bad, or, has the worst intent. That's not natural. It only becomes that when you've been in the world and now you know that you really can't trust a person. Not that you don't want to, it's just that you have to be wary. You just have to keep be on your 10 toes. But this is what you'll hear from these people eventually. Same thing with like witch doctors. Later on in their career, "Oh, this drug, I didn't know this drug was just so bad for you." No, you knew the consequences. To what extent, who knows, but you still knew the consequences, that it equals destruction on a person's mind, body, and soul. Now, do you know exactly what sort of place in the body that it would damage? No, but it damages the body. If you found out 10 years later that it starts in the brain and it works its way down. But again, you never were sincere. You never cared, because you'd be the same ones that would turn around and not allow people in your household to take these drugs. You yourself would never take them. But you want to speak 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years later, talking about, "I did not know. I am sorry." Lies. You're only sorry because you're old and dried up and you can't work anymore. You want to wait 40, 50, 60, 70, 100 years to now say, oh, I found Jesus. No, lies. You're just old and about to die, okay? And your body's giving up on you, and the person of the flesh, the person that has supplied you with fleshly things, physical things, is no longer there for you because he even knows it's temporary. So now what? You have no one to run to, because the person that could destroy the body can only destroy the body but not the soul. And now you're coming close to your soul because your body's being destroyed, and now you want to get closer to the person that can destroy the body and the soul. No, lies. You've never been sincere, and you want to sit up here and think someone's going to feel sorry for you. No, ma'am. No, sir. You have never cared, and you have never been sincere. And you want to wait all these years to come on here after all the damage you have caused in people's lives, all the deaths that could have been avoided because of your concoctions, your wicked ways. No, ma'am. No, sir. You know what God looks at? You know what God looks for? Your ways, your fruits, when you have the will, when you have the chance, when you have the breath, when you have the energy, when you don't have the energy. But we're talking about when you're fresh. You see, me, like I have a will, I have energy, even when I don't have energy. But that's what I'm trying to say. We're talking about when you have the chance. We're not talking about when you're on your deathbed, when you don't have energy, when now you have no choice but to pray to him or speak of the truth. No. He looks for, because everyone's been young before. Everyone has been younger. Everyone has had more energy. Everyone has had a chance to where they were doing something and they could have stopped. Everyone had a chance when they knew what they were doing wasn't right, that it could possibly and would eventually damage a person, cause destruction to the world. Because again, it was that time when you knew what you were doing, what you were producing, what you were making, what you were saying was going to destroy the world, their minds, corrupt them, and you turned around and said that, well, you wouldn't allow your children or the people that you're close to listen, to be around such things. That time in your life, he looks at those times in your life. That's that point in life in the spirit where you could have crossed the line or not, and you ended up crossing the line. Meaning you had that decision to open that door. You had that decision when the devil came knocking. You had that decision when there were 3 doors and you chose to walk in the one that you're in, the one that you've been in, loyal to. And you've been in that, you've been in there working religiously. You've been in there working loyal. So now after 50 years, you want to try to step out from that door, probably because you used up, and there's someone new that is now being, approached with the same opportunity, and now they have the decision whether to walk through that certain door. Yeah, it's a generational thing. You're older now. It's time, right? You're dying now in flesh. Now there's someone in the back of you, someone that wants to do what you've done, wants to be who you are, and now you want to say, don't do it. I'm trying to figure out if there's any sincerity, which there isn't, because you're just no. See, no. Mm-mm. And so if I wanted to literally question you, which I don't have to, it would be things like the simple things. Why didn't you have the same energy before? Why didn't you have the same energy in the beginning? All the things that you're saying right now, say it, right? Just tell the truth. Because of the love of money, because of the opportunity, because of the convenience. Yes. But you still knew the truth, right? You still knew what it was doing to the world. You still knew you didn't want your children to listen to it, take these drugs, and go in this way. But you were fine with the rest of the world listening to it, taking these sort of drugs, going this sort of way. Yes. Okay, well, there's nothing else I need to say. You see, and that is judgment. That will be their judgment. This is a preview. Do you understand that? But I just want to remind folks, this is what the people that you look up to, or the people that you trusted in, or the people that you see on TV, or the people you receive drugs from, the people that's creating these things, when that time comes where God, the creator of the world, the creator of people, the creator of your masters, right? Some people consider objects as masters, things that don't even breathe. So he's the creator of all your masters, all your little gods, right? He is the God. And this will be pretty much what you'll hear. And this is what you'll say. They'll have no choice but to confess the truth. That is why regular folks should not trust in anybody but God. Those are the simplest things. You should not even idolize these people for what? Judge them by their fruits. If you're idolizing someone just because they look nice, they smell good, come on now. I mean, like, grow up. Look at their fruits for them to be something in your life. Like, who are you? They got to pass a test. Test them. Test the spirit. You should not just be allowing just folks into your home. Again, I said grow up, right? If we're talking to mature adults, if we're talking to people that are evolving, then we all know that we're no longer literally just allowing anyone in our lives because we know better. And because we know better, we do better. We test the spirits. We have to know the person. We can't just be deceived by how they look or what they say. When they could look a lot of ways. There's plastic surgery now, even so. When they could say a lot of things, because that's easy. They are literally actors and actresses deceiving. It can really be deceiving. So those are the simple things. Do we do the simple things? No. Do we cry and get upset and be angry at ourselves or angry at someone or God because of not doing the simple things? Yeah. The simple things are not hard. We just don't do them. They don't have to be hard when it's something that we're capable of doing. We're capable of choosing to test them by their fruits rather than what's on the surface, what they look like, what they say. That's why we shouldn't fall in disparity. It's just like, if you're not desperate, then, you're still operating in common sense. Disparity can bring you people that you never would ever consider. Yes, we all know what disparity is. For whatever reason, disparity will have you doing things like, again, against the grain, against your morals. We don't ever want to be in that sort of space. No. Just like a lot of people don't ever want to be poor, or they don't want to be poor again. But here's the thing, I will never jeopardize my morals, excuse me, as an evolved version of myself just because I don't want to be poor again. It has to make sense though. Like, I still have common sense. I'm still going to use my common sense. I'm still going to use what's right though. Like, that still is in the equation, the right part of it. Like, it still all has to make sense. That, yeah, I don't want to be poor again, or whatever the case, right? Yeah, I don't want to feel desperate again, but it still has to match my morality. My spirit still has to sit right with it. I'm not going to just grab any sort of opportunity that throws itself at me because it's paying good. That's still a sense of disparity. Because what is disparity without what is disparity? You know what I mean? Like, if, and so I'll answer that. It's a decision that you're making without considering your morality. Without considering yourself, who you are, who you've been. It's like leaving that behind just for the love of the opportunity, for the love of the money, for whatever love that you're going to receive from it. Because you just said you didn't want to be poor again. So what does that mean? That you'll go to any length just to not be poor again? We know a couple folks like that. We know a couple folks like that. They'll say things like, if they're questioned about it, like, oh, would you do this for this amount of money? It's so crazy because usually it's that one thing. It's usually, would you turn homo for $1 million? Like, would you do some homo stuff for $1 million? And the person say, yeah. That's just giving you an example, because that's like one of the things that they always tend to like get you with. Like, okay, we'll give you $1 million, but you have to do something homo. Because in the eyes of God, like that's crazy. That's crazy works. You see what I mean? They could have said anything else. Lick the ground, eat dirt, swallow a worm. And those things, it's like, okay, well, at least they're natural, But no, they get you with the homo stuff for some reason. And we know why. There's some deep spiritual stuff with that. It's this, that's, to someone that's righteous and has morals, it's like, that's tough, Like, it's not only tough, it's just something we would never consider, because that's just not, that's like far from who we are, right? But if you are, if you get down like that, right? If you already have that sense of spirit, then it's no problem for you. But to someone that is, just knows who they are, if they're a straight heterosexual individual spirit, then it's like, nah, like, not even for eternity. There would be a red flag there. It wouldn't matter about what everyone else thinks. Like, oh, it's eternity though. And I said, but there's something wrong with that. You see, that's what makes us be considered rebellious to the world, because we always question things. Well, here's another thing that we're questioning. I think what people, and it's not even that I know that people, it's like being a follower and being a leader. It is not in me to be a follower if I have my own opinion, if I have my own thoughts, if I have my own intuition. Now, even though my eyes see the majority going left, And it may feel to the flesh, it feels like it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to be alone. It doesn't feel good to be least. It doesn't feel good to be the minority. But I still know that I have my own opinion. I still have this instinct to go right, to go where I want to go. But will I be influenced? Would I just consider everyone else rather than myself? What do I sacrifice? Do I sacrifice me, my feelings, my thoughts, for the sake of what? For the sake of everyone else? No. And that is the same thing when it comes to any and everything. So if anyone comes up and says, "Oh, well, you can be homo for eternity," but I'm not homo. But you can be just for the sake of eternity. I say, but I'm not though. Okay, well, all you got to do it is one time. Just do it one time. But I'm not though. And I get it. A lot of people could do a lot of things, and they don't. And to see that's the spiritual part of it. There's a lot of things that you can do, and it doesn't have too much spiritual meaning to it. Like, but there's something to that other stuff. The other stuff on the other side, like homosexuality. If you know that you're not homosexual, um, it isn't something where, oh, if I do it once, it's okay. No, it's one of those deep things where it's like, if I'm not homosexual, I should not be playing in that playground. Simple. It's like, if you're not those things, why do I like, if I said no, I said no. And you'll find people that will test you. But if you know who you are, they can't mess with you when it comes to those sort of things. There's something very deep about that, very spiritual. That is why, if you are a heterosexual individual, you want to make sure that you're dealing with people that know who they are, that are literally heterosexual, that are literally solid. Because to someone like me personally, I'm a heterosexual woman, right? There's no question. I don't get jiggy with the other side. I don't really care for it. So you won't ever have to worry about me even thinking, playing around, entertaining that stuff, watching that stuff. It's just not something that I've never been interested in, right? But someone that is whatever they are, confused, someone that entertains it but says that they are not homo, yeah, let's just say you just don't want to you want to deal with people that know who they are. That's it. Or just people that are like, they don't play the fiddle. They don't play both sides. They like, you either in or you out. That's why I said solid. You want some considerably. For me, I would want someone, women and men, someone that doesn't play the fiddle, someone that doesn't play both sides. It's like, I know who I am, and if I know who I am, there's no reason why I even play around. There's no reason why I entertain certain things. It's nothing against anyone. It's not against anything. It's just, there's no reason. It's not necessary. Okay? Anyone that makes sense of it, anyone that makes sense of playing the fiddle, entertaining things, supporting it, like I said, for me, I'm not entertaining them. There's nothing that we agree on, right? But God bless you, God bless me, and that's it. That is all. But yeah, they always get you with the homo stuff for some reason. If they want to bet on something, it's like, do this. So you'll find people that, and using that example, because again, that example is always something that comes up. Like, do this for this, be homo. Would you be homo to do, and get this and receive that? You'll find those people that will say yeah, and that's okay. Like, God bless them, God bless me, right? But no, okay, no. But just like how there's many of them, there's many people that will be like, okay, I'll do it for $1 million. There's a lot of people like that. Let them have each other, right? That's what I mean. It's like they will never be alone. There's people like them that think like them, act like them. Just like there's people like me. I don't know how many, but there's people like me that will never consider doing something homo if I'm not homo for $1 million for the love of money. And so that's where you get that your morality, like you would sacrifice your morals, you would lay down your morals. That's what you'll get after that person considers it. You'll have everyone else look at them kind of sideways, not because they're, quote unquote judging you in a way where it's not right. No, they're just judging you based off of like common sense. Like, so you'll lay down your morals for the love of money? And then they'll look at you because they're thinking like, wait, are you homo? It raises a lot of red flags because it's like, you doing it for the love of money, or are you doing it because you actually don't mind being homo, or both? Anyway, that's what I mean. It could have been all avoided, but it's something that you kind of walk into because there is people like that, right? Whereas if you would have thought everyone in the world would have been like, nah, I ain't selling my soul. I'm not laying down my morals. I'm not going to, And here's another thing. A lot of people will try to downplay it, like, oh, it's just kissing a man, or far other things, right? It's just one time, and it's like there's the solid ground. Like, if you're solid, it's just something you're not gonna do. Like, I don't care. Not for the love of money. Like, it's not that, and that's how they look at it. Like, it's not that serious. Okay. And maybe it's not to you, but here's the thing with me. I'm always gonna wonder, like, oh, I can just kiss it. Okay. I'll always wonder, why does it have to be homo stuff? I'm telling you, there's something spiritual about it. Of course it is, but that's how you'll know there's something very deeply spiritual about it. Because it's like, well, why can't we just change, what I have to do? Why can't it just be something else? Why can't I just, eat dirt? Or why can't I just, do anything besides homo stuff? Once you question that, they were like, nope. You have to do this. You have to do the homo stuff to get the money. I said, I could do anything else. Anything else. They said, nope. You see that? So while everyone's trying to downplay it and say, oh, well, it's just one time, or it's just kissing a person, or just doing this, or I said, okay, but why does it have to be homo stuff? There you go. They couldn't answer you. They wouldn't be able to answer you. The devil wouldn't answer you because he's looking at you like, I'm sure you know why. I'm sure you know why I am approaching you about doing something that will affect your morals, your morality. You see that? We're getting closer. It would affect your soul. It would affect who you are. This is not something little where, oh, I'm just going to eat dirt. That's not going to affect my morality. That's not going to affect my soul. It's not going to affect me. Now, it's not going to affect like who I am. Now, it may affect my body. Again, there's always effects, but you know what I mean. Like, it's not going to affect my essence, like who I am. But it could affect my body, right? So, just to put that out there. from the mind of someone that is, I'm not perfect, but I believe I'm decent mind. I have sound mind. And you know, I'm a sinner too, right? But I'm more of a solid individual than anything. So this is from the mind of someone like this, right? And it's common sense. It's freaking common sense. Now, are you literally waiting for someone that operates in a homo spirit to confess and say, "Oh well, I took the money, or I considered it because I was homo, or because I didn't mind being homo, or because it was for the love of money"? Are you really expecting for them to say it for you to believe? You know what I mean? And most of the time, some of them won't say it because for whatever reason, right? They're hiding, whatever the case may be. Well, I'm telling you, as a solid individual and as a heterosexual and as a person that has common sense, it's common sense. Like, why would you consider doing something like that if it's not who you are? And the last thing you should worry about is if it is serious or not. It doesn't matter how serious it is or isn't. It's not what I'm doing because it's not part of my morality. It's not something that I will be comfortable with outside of this. You know, so like if I'm not doing this stuff on a regular basis, why would I do it now because of the love of money? Okay. All right. This is becoming into this is these lectures, they're freelance, so they flow into a lot of things. Um and that this one thing is deep. Try to wind it back to where I was. Um, yeah, a lot of people, they'll do these things, all sort of things for disparity or whether it's disparity or not. God will judge you based off that moment, especially. You know why? Because that moment was when you were sound mind, you were clear minded, and you were approached with opportunity, right? This is before you got blinded, before you got lost, before now you are used to it. This is the moment that they're telling you what it consists of, what you'll have to do, what you'll become. And you either sign the dotted line, you either go through that door, or you don't. He's looking at you then, right? At that moment. So this is a preview. You understand me? Before all the excuses start flowing in on, oh, well, I was young then, or oh, I didn't know better. Shut up. Shut up. So you're telling me you didn't know what you were signing? Why would you sign it then? You were not in your right mind? Okay, well, how'd you get there? Again, this is common sense. These are the simple things. Stop lying. Stop it. And you know what's even greater than me? God. And he's the one that can actually see and know if you had a mental, if you were having a mental issue, at that point in time when you literally weren't in your right mind. He'll know that. So you can lie to me, even though I'm still not believing it. But you can lie to yourself all day long and make excuses, because that is the last thing he's going to tolerate. Do you understand me? I'm barely tolerating it because I'm nipping it in the bud. Like, nope, that was a lie. Please stop it. So I'm letting you know right now, do not get up there in front of my Father and think you're going to lie to him, which I'm sure you won't, because you'll have no choice but to tell the truth. Your spirit will tell on you. You're going to look at God and be like, oh, God, I'm so sorry. I did a little. You're going to be motor mouth. You're going to be motor mouth alley. You're going to just be talking, confessing. Yeah. Telling your testimony. Just let the truth be free. Because he already know it. He already seen it. He knew you before you knew you. Please. You know, I think it's like people have been so used to lying to each other, lying to human beings, that they're not registering that this is God. Yeah, I think that's what it is. But again, you'll have no choice but to, because your spirit will be exposed. Like they say, the seed in you will be exposed. But while we're down here, and you know, I'm speaking to you, you're gonna lie. Of course you're gonna lie, because you think that I don't know. Okay, well, I know of you. I know the things people can do. So I'm not believing anything. I'm not, no, you're a liar. Until I am proven wrong, you're a liar. So anyway, he's gonna look at those things just like I'm looking at those things, and how I'm not tolerating no excuses, because I was young too. Like I'm speaking like I'm this older version about my younger version. I was young too. like what do you mean? Like, or I can speak on this time right now. Like, it's the same thing. Everyone has a choice. You just made that choice. That's it. And I'm just exposing it, because nobody wants to hear you. No one cares, because you didn't care for us. And it's not even because you didn't care for us. It's the fact that, like, everything you say is nonsense. Like, I don't care to hear nonsense. I don't care to hear lies. You understand me? It's not a tit for tat, like, oh, you know, because you didn't care for me, I don't care for you. It's not that. It's the simple fact that you'll sit up here, you'll sit your unsincere self up here and still lie to me. And still lie to the world. Like, oh, I didn't mean to, or I was so naive, or the devil did it. No, he did not. Okay? You were the devil. The devil made me do it. No, he did not. You did. He just presented an opportunity for you. And you took it, my guy. Why? And that's the thing. It's like, you didn't come here to literally take responsibility. You just made excuses. And not only that, but you know, you sitting on this couch going against your master, trying to blame him for everything. Like he gonna get in trouble for it. Girl, if you don't just like tell the truth, take accountability, and if you're not gonna take accountability, why should I have to listen to you? Why would I stomach that? I can't. You're aggravating me. It's cringy. It's cringy. And then after 100 years, you're gonna sit your old self up here and still lie and think people are gonna look at you and feel sorry. No. Why should we feel sorry for you because you look old and brittle? We all gonna have to look old and brittle if we stay here. Please. We have never judged you off the surface, and we still won't. So you can stop with all that, because you know what? Behind that brittleness and the old wrinkly skin, your spirit is still willing. You're in there. And you know what you've done. They're probably gonna plead the fifth and say, oh, they got Alzheimer's. Shut up. Well, then get off this stage. Why are you even here if you forgot? If you don't remember nothing? Why are you even here? Anyway, so that's the thing. It's like, you know what's coming for, that person knows what's coming for them eventually. And that's just the way the world. It's them getting away with all that they can get away with until the will is done. It's those sort of things, depending, like knowing the will of this world, that certain folks come into this world where the master of this world is, set to poison everyone. Okay. And that's just the will of this world. Like, that's just the will of this master until no longer, until the will is fulfilled, until, right, the person's old and brittle or dead. Because, and that's where it's like, it'll never be sincere. I'll never accept that, you know what I mean? Because it's like, no, you only had but so much time. And now that your time is done, you want to confess. You're only confessing because your time is done. It's like them telling us the truth. You're only telling the truth because why won't you, right? The truth is already here. Like, the truth is coming. Like, you're done for. Like, it's one of those things where you want to tell them or you want me to tell them. Because I'm going to tell them regardless. But do you want to tell on yourself before I tell on you? They have no choice to. Is that sincerity? No. Have they ever been sincere? Never. That's my point. So when they say, "Who am I?" or they don't know who they are, yes, they do. Because all they have to do is look at their fruits. Look at you have morality, right? And if you've laid down your morality, you know who you are. If you're a person that's a bully, you know the spirit of you. People are well aware of themselves, just as your family or close people or your children. You are well aware of your child's spirit. You are well aware of their personality. So how is it that a person doesn't know themselves, but everyone else around them knows? Because it's a lie. A person has to live with themselves every moment of life. There is no way a person's going to say they don't know who they are. There's no way. They do know who they are. They have no choice but to know who they are. Now, whether they choose to sit with themselves, choose to make time for themselves, hey, that's on them. But to say that they don't know who they are, they're not well aware of who they are, no, they just probably don't like who they are and they don't want to think about it or talk about it or look at it or, be confronted with who they are. There's a difference there. But they still know who they are. Okay? Just like everyone else knows who they are. Because just like them, we may have no choice but to know who they are because they're around us, right? Because they act around us, they talk around us, they be around us. We have to work around them. We're well aware of a person's spirit when we have to see them every day, hear them every day, feel them every day. But they're going to sit here and say, I don't know who I am. I'm lost. No, you're not. You're trying to play like you're lost. You're trying to say that you're lost. A person that's actually lost is a person that's out of their mind. And that's usually when you're on drugs because you're not even in reality. You wake up, don't even remember what you've done, what you've said. Literally. So if you're not on drugs, then you're in your right mind. Okay? Common sense. This is like common sense class. This is common sense philosophy. 101. Allie's common sense lecture. To be fancy. So I think what I'll do is I'll end it here and I'll come back. This is just common sense.